Does this story sound familiar? You're sitting in your bedroom, dopamine is at an all-time high, you've just decided that you're going to start your own agency. More specifically, your very own AI automation agency. You've got your offer, you watched Zoro's awesome offer video, and you know exactly what you're going to sell. But as you sit down, you think to yourself, it's like, okay, I know what I'm going to sell, but I don't know how to actually reach the people I want to sell to. Well, that is what today's video is for, guys. Whether you're running an AI automation agency or you're just running another type of service-based business in general, today I'm going to show you guys how I source and automate my outreach and how you guys can do the same thing as well. Now, when it comes to generating leads, there's lots of things that we can cover, like personal branding, ads, all of that stuff. But today we're mainly going to focus on outbound outreach on social media platforms and automating that process. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop right into the sauce. That's what she said. Okay, so here's what we're going to be covering in depth today. First and foremost, the best outreach platforms to reach out on. Second is some common myths and misconceptions. Third is tools and scraping methods that you can use to actually find the leads. Fourth is how to automate the outreach. Fifth is your daily outreach plan. And finally, but probably most important, we're going to talk about why you should consider not automating your outreach. We'll also cover some super basic scripts. We'll go more in depth with like script writing in another video, but we'll do some basic ones on today's video too. Let's go ahead and go over potential platforms that you can do outreach on. You have LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and cold email, basically. Now, these are just to name a few, and most of you are going to be using 1 to 3 of these platforms. The most common of them, and the ones that I'm currently using right now, are cold email, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Now, I would suggest mastering 1 or 2 of these before you move on to another platform, because you're just going to end up overextending yourself and burning yourself out. And I already made a video about cold email that you could check out after this one that you guys can watch and set up everything of cold email there. So with that being said, today we're going to be focusing on Twitter and LinkedIn primarily. These two are going to be the best places for you to get started, especially if you're a beginner and you don't really have any prior experience. First, let's talk about Twitter. Now, before we hop into the outreach, I know exactly what you're thinking. Well, Zoro, I don't really have a presence on Twitter. I've got 20 followers. How am I supposed to reach out to people? No one's going to want to talk to me with 20 followers. And I'm here to tell you that that is entirely untrue. This is incredibly common false belief, but it is untrue in every single way possible. I know people who have only 30, 40 followers who make well over $30,000 a month from the clients that they land on Twitter specifically. It's because they have case studies and they have their offer honed down, which is what the goal is, guys. Now, let's hop into some Twitter outreach. There are 3 tools mainly that you can use for Twitter lead scraping and outreach. Those 3 are Rocketbird, Scrapybird, and Drippy.ai. Rocketbird and Scrapybird are used mainly for scraping, but personally I use them for outreach as well. We'll touch on that. Drippy is used for scraping and the automation side of things. I'm going to show you guys how to use both of them. For today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to scrape using Rocketbird and how to automate using Drippy. So without further ado, let's hop into the computer. So first things first, you're going to want to head to app.rocketbird.io and you're going to want to sign up, get a free trial, make a free account. Same thing for Scrapybird if you want to use that as well, but for this, we're going to be using Rocketbird. Now, they're still in early beta, so there's some features that aren't really working quite yet, but it's still an amazing platform. First things first, you're going to click on New Pipeline, and you're going to enter a pipeline name. So we're just going to call this Lead Gen Video. Boom, pipeline name, you create that. Of course, I'm at my max pipelines, but that's how that would work. Awkward moment. And it's going to create one of these pipelines over here. As you can see, I have some for a couple different types of leads that I have, Web3, UGC, AI, whatever it is. So once you have your pipeline created, obviously your leads, they're going to be empty. So that is when we're going to hop over to Twitter. Once you're on Twitter, you have to ask yourself a couple different things. First and foremost, what kind of niche are you going for? You're going to want to find someone who's big within that niche. Let's just say, for example, I'm going for course creators, coaches, consultants, that kind of thing. Logan Fitz is actually a perfect example of this. He's got a massive audience and he's absolutely phenomenal. Or, for example, another great example of this is Nick Rogers. He's also a partner of Logan's. So he's got a great audience for me to pull from. Let's just head down to one of his tweets. Boom. So as you can see, he's got 71 likes. That might be a good tweet to pull from. Alternatively, as you can see on the side of my screen, I'm using something called Tweet Hunter X, and it shows their all-time, most liked, most engaged tweets. If you have that, it's just a Chrome extension. You can go to Recent, and you can find tweets of theirs that just popped off, right? So let me go to this one, for example. This might be a good tweet to scrape from. So You know, it's got 371 likes. That's pretty decent. Now with Rocketbird, as you can see here at the top of my screen, they also have Chrome extension, and this is what you're gonna use for the scraping aspect of things. So you're gonna click on the likes. It's gonna pull up all of these profiles. Now, if you're doing this manually, you gotta go through, find people who meet your ideal customer profile, but with this, we don't have to do that. So you click on the little Rocketbird, you're gonna select a leads list. I'm just gonna send these to UGC creators because it's easier. Then you're gonna select a keyword in the bio. You're gonna select them, or you're gonna separate them by commas. So let's just say I'm looking for CEO, I'm looking for owner, looking for founder, looking for agency, e-com, stuff like that. And then exclude the words. Now, I usually exclude words like AI, I exclude software, I exclude SaaS, artificial intelligence, Web3, crypto. I don't want any of that stuff. Personally, I just don't want it. So usually I exclude those keywords. I'm excluding AI because we're selling an AI service. We don't want to be reaching out to people who are doing AI as well. And then follower range, number of leads to scrape, that's up to you. Personally, I don't really ever touch it. And I always select profile picture because that's going to ensure that you get people who are actually, active on Twitter most of the time. Then you're going to start your search. Now, it might take you a couple tries to actually find some leads. You might find a handful of leads. They're here. You might have to go through a couple different posts, and it's gonna basically go through this pretty decently quick. As you can see, it already found a lead that matches those keywords. It doesn't take all of them, by the way. It just searches for one of them. But essentially, once that's done, just to fast forward a little bit, this search will stop. I'm just gonna stop it. And you can view leads in Rocketbird. So you're gonna go ahead and click view leads, and it's going to pull up these two leads. So trader e-commerce, expert biohacker. Of course, a lot of these you're gonna have to sort through and make sure that they're actually qualified leads. But from there, you can select them. So let's just say these two are qualified. You add them to the pipeline, which in this case would be the UGC pipeline, added, and then you can head over there like this, takes a second to load. And then from there, you can click on them. You can set up all of these. So like I have inbox, first message sent, follow-up, second follow-up, third follow-up, that kind of thing. So that way I can see what stage of the pipeline that they're in. And from here, you can message them. You can add tags. You can add, assign a customer value. Super easy. Personally, this is the way I prefer doing things, and I'll tell you why here later on. But if you wanted to automate things, you can use Drippy as well. Now, Drippy does the lead scraping. So to do that, once you're on your dashboard, you go to find leads, go to new lead source, and you're going to do lead scraper. Now you're going to do, tweet source like we just did with the likes, the retweets, the comments, or you can do it from an account. So I'll just scrape my own followers here. GPS/Zoro the Wiz. Boom. There I am. Cool. We're going to scrape my following, going to add that source, and then go to next. From here, you can add, bio content. So this is like keywords. You can add elements, a word, a phrase, a symbol, a link, etc. We're just going to say word, e-com. I'm going to add that filter. Now, of course, there are no leads remaining because I'm not following anyone with the word e-com in their bio, but that's how you would do it. Now, I've already got a leads list that I've saved because this takes time, but it's got 11,000 leads, right? So once you do your scraping, obviously you have your leads list. You're going to head over to automation. You're going to click on new automation. It's going to be a cold DM. And this is a script personalizer. Now I've already got something written here. So you're going to select the lead source, select the leads, go to next. And here, once you're in the script personalizer, you're going to head to configure message. And you can do something like this. So again, this isn't the best script, but just to, get the point across, hey, first name. So it'll put their first name there. So it'll be, hey, Darshil, how are you doing? And then the custom personalization aspect. This is what I added. This, you at least want to customize it a little bit, just a little bit. If you don't add any personalization, you're not going to get responses. Or your response rate's going to be super low. So even if you're automating, just a little bit of personalization goes a long way. So I'm just going to say compliment them on something they've done or achieved based on their bio. So that way the AI will compliment them, based on what they've got in their bio. It'll be something like, it's super cool that you're simplifying complexity and writing content that doesn't bore you to tears, that kind of crap, right? And then you put a case study. So we recently helped X client achieve Y result with our AI automation framework. Even if you don't have any previous clients, you can just say something like, we recently built a chatbot that helps business owners like yourself save over 10 hours of time per week. Mind if I shoot you over a Loom video talking about it? Or I've got a few ideas for you in particular. Would you be interested in hearing more? Mind if I send something over to you? That kind of thing. Ask for permission. Then you're going to go to next, and you're just going to give the automation a name. tell it how many messages to send per hour. I don't recommend doing more than like 20 personally. I think that's fine per hour. So select your sending account, which is the account that you have connected, and then you start the automation. Personally, I don't like doing automation, and I'll touch on that again later. But that is basically how you automate Twitter outreach. Now, let's go ahead and cover LinkedIn. For LinkedIn, you have a couple different tools that you can use. Primary tools that you have to use are either Octopus CRM, LinkedIn Sales Navigator, or Dripify. For this video, we're going to cover Dripify and Octopus. They're both made by the same company. Octopus is an automation tool, Dripify is an automation tool, and they're both great. Dripify is a little bit better, but of course it's a lot pricier, whereas Octopus is a little bit more on the manual side, but it's a lot cheaper. So depending on your budget, you can decide which one you want to go with from there. But for today's video, we're going to focus on Octopus, and we're going to go ahead and hop right into it. Now guys, real quick, before I move on to LinkedIn, I'm going to show you an extra tool that you can use with Rocketbird to automate a little bit more of your outreach, and it's called TextBlaze. Now this one is also a Chrome extension, but it's absolutely amazing for automating some parts of your outreach. So usually when I outreach, for example, let's just use Nick Rogers again. You know, I usually look at their profile and I'm like, okay, he tweeted about $217 of groceries in 2023. So I might send him something like this. I might say, I always make my outreach, my personalization on Twitter super casual, because most people that are business owners on Twitter are also super casual. You just got to read the profile a little bit and kind of get the vibe. But so that might be my personalized first line. But the cool thing about TextBlaze is you can click add snippet, and you can add your outreach message. So you can call it like out one, right? And you can say, boom, now you have an outreach message, you have a snippet. So when I go back to this, right, I have that personalized first line. I can be /out1. Boom, it pastes it right there. Now, of course, you're gonna want to edit around that like a little bit, but that's how that works. So, you know, you have your Rocketbird list of leads, you click message /out1, add the personalized first line, send. Boom, that's how I do it. Now moving on to LinkedIn, again, the tools that you're going to be using are Octopus or Dripify. Now, really, you can just kind of do your searches here. You can do Boolean searches if you want. So if you just want to find CEOs, like it doesn't matter who you find, you can just search CEO and it'll pull up tons of CEOs, right? But of course, if you want to use Boolean searches, you can do something like CEO and luxury, and it'll pull up people with CEO and luxury in their bios. We'll do a video on Boolean searches sometime in the future. But once you have your leads list, what you're going to do is you're going to head over to Octopus. So once you're at Octopus, you're going to create a campaign. You can do that in the top right over here. You're going to head to the Connect tab, create the campaign. In this case, I just called it video because it's just the campaign for the video. And you're going to head back to your leads list. Now, I'm going to click on people just to expand this a little bit. Now, if you guys have Sales Navigator, obviously you can do a lot more with like Boolean searches, and you can add some filters right here. But personally, let's just say this is what you want. This is all that you want. You can go ahead and click the little octopus up here. You select the action, which in this case is going to be connect. You're going to select the campaign, which in this case is the video. I'm just going to send 10 profiles. Like, you can put how many profiles you want to send. Don't worry about this link right here. It doesn't matter right now. You're going to click send CRM. It's going to ask you to wait. Just wait a second, and boom, it'll shoot them over right over here. And before you know it, you have a list of leads. Now with LinkedIn, you can only send 150 connect requests per week. Of course, you can go over that, and this tool will allow you to do that with like email connection requests, but just so you know. Now you can put how many users you want to send connection requests to. So if you click, if you click this, it'll send a connection request to all of them. Or if you just do this, it'll send it to 10, etc. You add your connection request note right here. Hey, first name. So it'll take their first name, is company currently using AI in any capacity. I have something that might be of interest to you. Something super simple. For connection requests, I usually like to kind of, hook their attention a little bit and keep it super clean and simple, because they get these long paragraphs all the time. I'd rather have them, like give me permission basically. So mind if I shoot it over to you? But like Zoro or Sean, something like that, right? Super simple, super easy. And then it'll send that message to all these connection requests once you hit launch. And then, all of the people that it connects to, it will have in the recent history. You can extract them and then move them to the next steps, which is like visit, message, etc. So that's why it's a little bit more manual, but that's how you use it. Now that you know how to reach out on both platforms, I'm going to tell you why you probably shouldn't automate. Now, why do I automate on LinkedIn, but only semi-automate on Twitter? Well, the answer is simple. People hate getting automated messages. That's just the reality of it. It's an instant turnoff for anybody. With LinkedIn, you can get away with it because pitches are just the name of the game there. And with connection requests, you can kind of personalize it a little bit and get the permission before actually sending your outreach message. So you're able to get away with it 100%. They accept your connection request, tell you, yeah, you can send something over, and then you can send your pitch, and it's just a whole lot smoother, a lot less friction. And also, I know they're interested if they said yes, which makes them even more receptive to my actual pitch rather than just sending them 3 paragraphs out of the blue like normal LinkedIn is. The key to outreach, guys, is humanization. You can't forget that you're talking to another person on the other side of the screen, which is where the problem for automation comes in Twitter. Most automation software, like the one that I showed you, scrapes the bio for personalized information. But guys, you weren't fooling anybody. Anybody on Twitter can tell when a DM message is automated. You know, I've gotten quite a few automated DMs where it's like, hey Zoro, your digital pioneer status is truly impressive, because I had digital pioneer in my bio. And it's like, that's not personalization. You're not slick. You didn't do any research. And you have to think about it. When you're reaching out to these big business owners, you're wasting their time. They don't see that you went through the effort to actually learn about them and actually put effort into your outreach. They're not going to care about the service. It'll be like, hey Zoro, truly impressive that you're the co-founder at Virality and that you help businesses scale with automations and AI. It's just like completely rips my entire bio. That is not personalization. You are not slick. You're not going to get away with it. Anybody can see through that. Ripping the words from someone's bio does not make it look like you did your research. If anything, it just reflects poorly on you, saying that you're too lazy to actually care enough to reach out. It comes across as completely insincere, and I'm not the only person who thinks this either. Look at guys like eColwiz, who has a massive audience on Twitter and literally made a tweet calling out these types of auto DMs. If you want to reach high-profile clients, you're actually going to have to put in some time and some effort, like I showed you with the manual outreach, or else they won't give you the time of the day. The rest of the message can be automated with text blaze, of course, you know, that boring case study part. You just put in your little command /@1, but the first part of the message should always be personalized. So what can you take away from this? What's the next steps for you? To start off, you should be sending at least 10 to 20 DMs a day, more if possible, but I'd rather you send 10 DMs a day consistently than 20 every so often, right? You should be maxing out your connection requests on LinkedIn every single week. You can use my cold email guide to get your email campaigns going and begin reaching out to prospects on there. And then otherwise, you're basically golden. Each week, track your stats, like your DM sent, your calls booked, positive responses, negative responses, and you can do this to see where things might need adjustment or need improvement. And do not move to other platforms until you really nailed it on your first call. At the end of the day, guys, volume is key when you're doing outreach, especially as a beginner. You might not land your first client in your first 100 messages. You might not land your first client in your first 200 messages. You can send like 20 messages and then get mad when they don't land a client. Do not underestimate how much outreach it actually takes to land that first client. So keep at it and get creative. If you need help, don't hesitate to join the Discord. The link is down below. It is completely free. Of course, we do have a paid tier, but you don't have to subscribe to that at all. And if you're looking for free training and guides with AI, hop on the Digital Pioneer newsletter as well. I release stuff there weekly. That being said, if you guys did like this video, be sure to smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. And if you want to see more content from me, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss another upload. And without further ado, I will see you guys later. Peace.